Hockey Nation fans, welcome to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy and the Boo and Michael Devellano directly from the California West Coast. Thursday morning, 8 a.m. He's still awake. He looked like he's on the Walt Disney background somewhere. How you doing this morning, Michael?
I am pretty good. There hasn't been much hockey since last night, though.
I know, right?
I'm
It
a little
was like
disappointed.
12 hours ago. By the fact, we remind everybody we try to come 2 times per day. Every 11 o'clock when we can, we're going to be here every morning, daily at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. But sometimes we come back the night at 11 p.m. talking about what's happening during the day. And we're going to, today we have a special day. We're going to talk about what happened last night, but also a couple of news around the league. Why the trade Panthers did not work yet with the Pittsburgh Pains, and also a couple of players loan and some players going to leave other team, their own team, and then also we're going to go through Washington Capitals. Um, their prospect and also their salary and everything like that. So we have a lot on the plate this morning, Michael, and I just want to get your impression about the game last night where Tampa win 5-2 versus Dallas Star and lead the series 2-1 right now.
I mean, it was definitely a dominating performance. We saw Tampa at a different level. I think obviously we anticipated that even if Stamkos just showed up on the bench, which is pretty much what he did, that was what was going to happen. That would be a huge emotional boost. On top of it, he scores a goal, so that just like rubbed it in. There was some brief periods where we saw what Dallas is capable of, and they turned the tide, but not long enough. I mean, in the end, that was all Tampa last night. So I don't think that um, that'll necessarily carry over. I think that hockey players are resilient and they're going to come back with fire, but it's kind of what we thought would happen. Like the talent and depth of Tampa would eventually overwhelm the depth on D, specifically of Dallas. Dallas is getting no production from that top line, other than, well, I shouldn't say that. Radulov looked horrible last night. Took some really stupid penalties. Take 3 penalties?
Yeah.
2, that's bad enough. One was fake, but he still took a penalty. The other guy is like Sagan. Like he just seems snake bitten at this point. Like we can, I talked about how I thought he changed his game, but the reality is he's trying to score. He can't, which is weird. This guy's always been able to score. So I don't know. But Jamie Benn, like that really hurt too, the 10-minute. Like he, and so if I recall the 10-minute, he got punched in the back of the head, right?
Yep.
And so another horrible call by the referees. He should not have even had a penalty. So that was
yeah,
complete nonsense.
was
To have
again,
Jamie Benn,
it
he
was
was
again.
playing, like his shifts were scary. Like I thought he was going to single-handedly bring him back from the brink, but then you only get him for 11 minutes. So I don't know. The referees, I think, did a terrible job last night.
They have phone call last night about that situation with Jimmy Ben. It was at the beginning of the third period, maybe 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I
Um,
remembered
they
after. That's
have a
right.
battle, puck battle between him and Ruta, the defenseman, and then they Ben foul, and then before he get up, Ruta hit the back of the head, and that's what pushed. That's what pissed off Jimmy Ben. Stand up, and then they start to not really fight, but what I mean, like the glove in
Yeah,
the
but
face and stuff like
how is
that.
that 10 minutes?
Now that's what my biggest question about this is this part. Why to give them a 2+10? Now you're going to say, oh, but we try to eliminate because the tension now maybe
Oh,
turn
poor
around about
babies.
that. You have no fight and playoffs
Fuck
so
off.
far.
These guys are a joke, man.
You know what I
Listen,
mean? So
whose mom is running the NHL?
my biggest thing is like you eliminate defense number 6.
Yeah.
Ruta, and then you
Cares.
eliminate the top player of Dallas Star for 10 minutes. So for me, it's a bad judgment, more
Nonsense.
about that part over there. And I think it was not right. It is what it is. I understand that. Is that Ben should be upset. I think two
Yeah.
minutes each, you go 4-4,
Even
move on to
even
the next.
that, it should have been 2 minutes for one guy and not the other. And you're the ref. You're standing here like this, and I see this. That's a punch.
Yeah.
Like he was standing right there behind the net. So I don't know. It was a terrible night for the refs.
I
Those
think
refs should
that
never
foul
be
should
allowed to
not do
ref
that.
anytime.
Now, I wouldn't go this way with you. If it's Antoine Roussel and Ryan Reeves do the same move, right? The same situation. Now you can go with 2-10 because now
Even then,
you pick up the bigger the you try to eliminate the the fight, or you try to
right?
calm down everything. But when you talk about Ruta, did he fight one time in his career?
No, that guy's never fought in his
Yeah, I
life.
mean, so I don't. I think I agree with you about that one. You should not do this at 2-10. That's not. And it's funny you talk about this. It's on my note right now. I was to talk to you about this. I was like, you how many times you hear from me? I love the press conference after the game, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the game, but after that, I'm jumping. I'm getting like press conference left and right, everything like that. And Rick Barnes, I think he was not going to the bar after the game because he was so pissed off. He was upset, and he was mentioned this exactly what he said.
Oh, he did.
Resilov, Jimmy Ben, and then after that, Eloy Seguins. And
Yeah.
he
This
was
is.
mentioned about where, listen, we cannot get a back-to-back penalty from Resilov. He mentioned the turnover, and it really what I said to you yesterday, that when he was 2-1, the the last 10 minutes of the first period, one Dickinson scored on PK. I really believe that moment Dallas was not in control, but they was coming back in the game, and there was,
Totally.
there was more, and they eliminate the shot. It was 16-8 at the end of the first period, and Dallas was in control. At the end of the first period, Radulov, a bad judgment of him, took another second penalty on the hook at the blue line. A little bit what Olisiak did um, at the second game against Johnson at the middle of the red line, where no idea why he did that. But they came back a second period, and then Victor Edmonds scored at 54 seconds, I believe. He came back 3-1. I feel at that moment, Dallas was out. They was cut their
Yeah.
legs there, and I think it was a bad.
It was terrible. And I mean, on the good side, they threw in the kid Ottinger, and I thought he played pretty well in that third period. So that gives them a little, they're deeper in net than we thought too. Like they could probably afford to let Bishop go next year.
But again, at that moment, my point to you was like, at that goal, all four forward was
It
behind the
was,
goal line. I
yeah,
did not get it again. This one's another. But Dallas make they make then Tampa look better at who maybe they are, and Dallas losing right now because of themselves. Bad penalty, give away puck, turnover. The best are not played the level they're supposed to play, where they bring them where they
yeah.
are. Could have been have not a great game last night. I don't say it was bad, but
He
he
made
one of
some
the
saves
five
and
was
let
not
some other junk
to
in.
give that. Then Eskinen score, but listen, it was a puck roll over the shoulder and then kick and then go in. And
Yeah.
then you have a bad game. Klember -3, Lendl -3. They gave away the puck all the time with that.
Yeah, there was like the worst was the Heskinen one at the beginning with the breakaway to Kucherov. I mean, that's like he had pressure was falling and he threw the puck up the middle. So.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean? Like it's looked good for Tampa. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So the one thing
It
what
is
Rick
what it
Bonner
is. Those
said at the
referees,
end,
those referees should never ever be allowed to referee a game at this level again.
Rick Bonner said at the end, we lost one game.
Yeah, one game.
Let's go move on to game number
That's the
4.
way they got to approach it.
It
That's
is
why I
what
don't
it
think.
is about that one over there. Now Cooper, it was all about Tampa was all about
Stamkos,
St. Goes last night. It was all about
the biggest 2 minutes, 47 seconds, 5 shifts and a goal.
so it
And
was
then he
all
sat
about
at the
that.
bench
And
the
you
rest
know
of
what?
the
Um, I love those stories. I love
Yeah,
the
of course.
Ray Book story. I love Dave
Yeah,
Andrechuk story. I love those
yeah,
guys come to the later at the eight
totally.
This is great stuff. It's a great memories, everything like that. So, Mario Lemieux come back with full goal, whatever
Yeah,
it was, and come back, what I mean, and
absolutely.
returner like this, what I
Nobody
mean.
does that better than hockey, like
Gary Carter hit. No, just kidding.
yeah, for the Mets, right?
No, it was Montreal came with a
I don't think
double
that's
one.
true.
Yeah. So then you have like maybe Cal Ripken and David Jeter, but that's another story. But what I mean, like it was good. It's good for the hockey. Now,
Oh
here's
yeah,
what I want to give to you about this one over there. Yesterday we talked about the NBC contract and the reason why 82 game and the negotiation about the main. Listen, the first game between Dallas and Tampa, game number one, it was the worst rating since 2007. That's my
really,
concern this morning.
really.
Yeah.
Well, how many people watched it?
I did not took a note of that one over there. I could find it, but that's not good,
Yeah,
honestly.
so
Now, the
was it
first
over two
game,
million?
no, the first game was it was Saturday night.
NHL Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it was Saturday night, and then you have Monday and then Wednesday.
Wow. The Stanley Cup postseason averaged a .9 rating and 1.48 million viewers, rising to 1.53 with streaming included. So that's interesting.
So,
Whoa, facing
I mean,
unprecedented competition, the NHL playoff ratings are in the tank. Damn.
now a many factor could be you have a
They're
lot of
saying baseball and NBA at the same
no,
time.
they have a lot of sport at the same time.
Right.
NFL, MLB, NBA, and also hockey. So the all four major sports they play Saturday night. And I think Saturday night was a big game in basketball, if I can recall it. Now it's not game change a lot. I think and
That's going to affect
hockey's
their
always
money, though.
hockey's always been behind. My concerns about what NBC is going to do and what
Contract is
ESPN
like,
can turn now and say, you know what, you guys, you don't have anything. We cannot hang in there with you guys about that one there.
okay, so do you feel that NBC does a good job with the broadcast? Like, I find it very difficult to access. Like, I don't have cable. Their app is a disaster. And some games are available on the app, some games are available on NHL.tv, and then some games are available on random channels, and it's jumping around all the time. Like,
So this is the one thing, like this, I agree on that one over there. I will flip around about that one. First of all, I love the commentators. I love Doc
yeah,
really,
yeah,
and then I think Kenny Albert
yeah.
was really good. And then you have another guy came late because you have 8 games, right? So you have one guy was very good in Edmonton area. But anyway, you're absolutely right about that one there. Now, because the hockey contract is not big, the NBC cannot give them the maximize their game on NBC national TV because the contract with golf, open golf, whatever they are, you know what I mean. But you're absolutely right. But now you have to realize it. When you have a game back to back, it's hard to put the game on NBC Sport Network because they have only one channel. That's we bring you sometime on the CBS, NBC, the
I, I'll
and
tell you
that,
why I really question these ratings. Because I root, and my wife, gets mad at me because I yell at the app. Because I will go on and I can only see the game on the NBC Sports Network app. So if I'm not sitting in front of a TV, I want to stream it. I'll clearly hit the game, and all of a sudden I'm watching monster trucks. It's clearly labeled the game, whatever, New York versus Philadelphia. I will go back, either restart the app or I'll go back to the home menu. Am I going crazy? It plays me a bunch of commercials. I hit it again and I'm watching golf. It's clearly labeled NHL.
yeah.
There's
I
serious,
don't
I
use
think
the
there's
app.
serious problems with
I
that
don't
app.
use the app. So be honest with you, I'm
Yeah,
always on
just on TV. For me, that's like, I think they do a terrible job with that app. They're more interested in serving me up commercials than they are giving me even the content I want.
Now here's what NHL missed a great opportunity. We play hockey since July 26th, or everybody come back to the bubble July 26th, and then we start in August 8 or 10. I could be wrong, but that's, don't worry about the date.
Yeah.
But they block or they black out the NHL network, NHL.tv. And I think you should get access to everybody for that period, the time of 6, 8, 10 weeks in on the on this. Now you're going to say to me, yes, but the game is on NBC. Let the game on NBC, but open the access to NHL TV to access. Everybody's on the COVID. Everybody have struggled. Everybody have a difficult time. They could do this. They cost anything. They're not going to lose a ton of money. Whatever it was, I think they missed a good opportunity to give a chance to everybody go back on
Well, they
NHL.
don't even like they exclude playoff games on the NHL app. So even that, like I'll go to the NHL app and I pay for what 82 games and I can't get the playoffs.
Exactly. That's another thing I got also myself. I have the TV, I have the apps. I don't have the
Yeah,
TV NHL.
because I'll watch like 2 or 3 games at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I understand that part. The second thing I would say to you about this, and I'm glad we talk about this. The subject was now on my note is NBC SN, not NBC National. NBC SN should, or the NHL to have an agreement to make a daily show of NHL live during the week. Like,
Do they not have a podcast?
yeah,
They
maybe.
don't even watch it. I don't even know. I mean, the number one hockey podcast seems to be Spitting Chicklets, right?
Yes, and a lot of stuff's going on the other side of Canada. You know what I mean? You can go
Yeah,
support
yeah,
that.
for sure. Canada's very
But
different
in
than West.
USA, they should go. Now, if you want to go there, you can go NHL. But if you have an agreement between both of them, I think you should do that. At least they have it. Because,
Yeah.
Fox Sport have all day about basketball and,
Oh,
and you know what I mean? And
I
then,
totally agree with you because if you go to Canada, as you know, the news, weather, sports networks, it's all hockey. Like radio, TV, if there's newspapers left, like it's
you
all
should do that.
hockey.
I personally, I think that would be
Here,
great if
it's
they
like,
can do that, an agreement like that. And again, it's not all day. They could have a one block to maybe 1 3 hours block.
yeah,
I know they have Rick
they could do
Ferguson
so
is
much
there.
more with it.
He talk a lot about football in the morning, everything like that. But I think they should bring that part of there. They have their NASCAR show every night with Del, or you know what I mean. Like if they can get like a block at 2 hours, whatever it's 12 to 2, whatever it is.
I agree.
I think that
That
would
could
be
be
helpful.
this.
I think
More
that would
people
help.
need to watch this.
So anyway, it was like we are a little bit out of the subject at
Yeah, no,
10.
I think it's important though. I think
Yes,
it talks to the future of the exposure of the sport in the United States. And it's still like the fourth or fifth sport. I mean, everything's fallen behind esports. So I think there needs to be a bigger tie into Twitch and to esports. They've got to figure out like, this Discord platform that the gamers use where there's chat while you're watching gamers, right? Like NHL needs to be really cutting edge to reach new fans. And they have to realize, and they may realize that NHL video games are bigger, I think, than the NHL.
it's getting bigger and bigger. It's another
Yeah,
industry is going to grow for the last 5 10 years. If you're a hockey player right now, 14 years old, if you don't think you can make the NHL, I would tell you turn around and go get your Twitch and then go learning about
yeah,
hockey because you can make a ton of money on that.
I
And the
think
next five
so.
ten years going to be a gambler, gambling, everything like that. Again, I don't want to promote anything here. I'm
No,
not
but I think that
buying that, but
there's got to be, if they want to be innovative in this next contract,
yeah.
or they want to take back control, that's like they have a terrible presence on Twitch. It's really not great. And maybe that's an opportunity for you and I. We need to probably be on Twitch more because I think if we tie it into the gaming, that's there's NHL fans there that are playing Chell, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is something to talk about this for sure.
Yep.
Talking about Tampa, I want to go back. What happening in 1992, September 24th?
September 24th,
Yeah,
1982.
yeah.
I don't know.
Manon Rhéaume,
Oh, yeah.
first woman play in NHL under who was the
Great
manager of
movie.
the team at that time?
Phil Esposito,
El Esposito.
my
He's
friend
still
Phil.
working, by the way, right?
He's still broadcasting.
Broadcaster
Yeah,
for
I
them.
love Phil. Phil's a great guy. He's like,
Yeah.
I think, he brought what you see there in Tampa would not exist without Phil. And he had those crazy Japanese investors. And, he was a bit of a showman, right? Like he definitely has a big personality. Um, Manon Rhéaume it was a great thing to kind of, I think it had probably inspired a lot of women to play hockey.
I
Like
think changed a lot of the philosophy of the hockey program,
yeah,
everything like that on the girls' side. And I think it was a great, um, I was still in Montreal those years, and I see her growing, from young age to go to 92, and I remember her story was all over the national, and I think that's changed a little bit the history of a hockey for
yeah,
women. And I just
yeah.
want to remind you that part of there is on my note.
Her brother played, right?
Yeah, Pascal Rion.
Pascal. And then who did she marry?
Oh,
She married someone, right?
yeah, yeah, but of course,
That
someone
was
involved with
Jerry
sport.
St. Cyr. No, yeah, Jerry St. Cyr. He played roller hockey and he played in minor hockey, so
Yeah.
it was all in the family.
I want
It's a
to talk
great
about
story.
this.
I thought she played well in the cube. She wasn't a great goalie in the cube, but I think it was a gutsy move by Phil.
Let's move on to the next subject now. We go to go a couple of players news what's going on everything. The big news yesterday was the situation between Pittsburgh and Pens
Is
and
this
then Florida
happening?
Panthers between the trade between Patrick Orquist and Madison. Is it Mike Madison? I always said Mike.
Yeah, Mike Matheson. Yeah.
Right. So here, what I go deeper with that, I live in Florida, so I want to get a little bit more what's going on every time like that. Everybody talk about the no close trade between for Patrick and everything like that. Now here's the situation. Bill Cito, he came from Columbus Blue Jacket. He was like assistant GM, and he
Yeah.
been there for 2013, maybe a little bit earlier, but he been there. The problem of the situation, it's not a trade clause. It's Patrick Orvis or or Orvis have no insurance if he's get hurt about. You remember Nathan Orton?
Yeah.
So the problem they got the Columbus is they have to have a full insurance 100% to cover his salary. He cannot go for another third party with everything like that, everything like that. The situation is the same thing with Patrick. So
Oh,
Zito does not
if he
want,
gets hurt,
yeah.
why is that?
It's a it's a contract where you have you can have like a full percentage on
Oh, so the team has to pay his premium.
yes.
Oh, geez, and those premiums are crazy.
Yes. So it's a, I did not go deeper to tell you 20,
That
30,
makes
whatever it is.
sense.
But
That's a weird
because
one.
Zito been to that similar situation with Nathan Orton a couple of years ago, where you know the story about Nathan Orton, where he signed a
Sad.
contract and then nothing happened there.
Couldn't
Then he got
play,
to
right?
Toronto, whatever it is. But the situation with Patrick now, right now, is the same way where now, Bill, it's not the no trade clause stop everything. It was more now they negotiate to figure out okay what they can fix about the insurance and
Oh,
the
got it.
something that I don't know if you're looking right now online, but
No, I was just looking at Nathan Horton for a sec, but
so that's what happening right now. So that's a big red flag of that why they hold that trade right
mm,
now between both
crazy.
teams. We talked a little bit last night, you and me, about who win this trade, everything like that.
Is it
It's a
gonna happen?
what
Is it even gonna happen?
they are on the hold. They cannot do anything yet
Yeah.
before that. So it's not involve other players. It's not because maybe Orvis you don't want to go there right now. It's more about the problem, paperwork, everything
Yeah.
about insurance right now. So we'll see what happened there. We talk about this a little bit. Who win that trade? I think the two team is looking more. I really believe like Florida to get him with Uberdo and Barkov is better at only have Dandanov on the
Yeah,
left side because now
yeah.
you
They
get a guy always in front of the net, screening, a little bit more mean, and that's missing. The problem on Florida right now, it's not only this, it's really they don't have any second line center right now after they
traded
trade
Trocheck. Like
check everything like that. So
they don't have Bukestad. They don't have anything.
everything happening there. We don't go too much with them right now this morning, but that's
So
the
I think for me, like I said this last night, they don't need Matheson. It looks like on
no,
their roster.
yeah.
Their top four seems pretty set without him. For Pittsburgh, he's a 25 or 26-year-old defenseman with 3 years under his belt. He skates really well. He's a good skater. I thought he's a decent size, right? Like he's not. I don't know if he's a mean defenseman, but nobody in Florida
Not
seems to
really,
be.
but he can carry on the puck. I think
Yeah,
if you compare him with, you said a good point yesterday, Justin Schultz. And
right. That's what I
him,
was
I think
thinking.
it's better with Madison versus
Yep.
Schultz. Schultz more defensive, everything like that.
The contract seems ridiculous, but it probably is cheap in the long run. Like if he can actually play in the NHL for the next 6 years or four of them, then 4.8 is not the end of the world. And
Yes.
to get something similar on the market where a guy gets 25, 35 points, which is what he's capable of, that's a pretty good deal.
I think you're absolutely right. It's not the amount of the contract, it's
The
the
length.
longevity of the contract make a bad contract if you
Yeah,
examine over there. Now,
yeah.
if we play number four on the rating, four on the lineup of the tens as a defenseman, it's a good contract because you know at 3 and 4 right now it's about almost like $4 million at least. You know what I mean? Like Jeff Petrie at 5.5 is second. He's number three on Montreal Canadiens. You can go with a lot of defensemen on you know when you have a good solid defenseman. So I think a long term is get there. Now why Patrick? Because he's 33 years old. Um, he's 33 years old and also he has only one more year of the contract, if I remember, on the UFA.
It's this year and then next
Yeah.
year.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah,
much
so
it.
that's actually not bad. Or maybe it's three. I think he's got three left.
Now maybe, but I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
one of the
so.
reasons
So
why
he'll be because I think he'll be 36 at the end of it.
it could be. I don't know if you can look about that one over there.
Let's take a look.
Moving about that one over there, you can look in. I will give you some news from Ottawa Senators. The the they mentioned yesterday about the situation with Greg Anderson and also
3 years.
Borowicki is not going to return with Ottawa. So that give
Really?
another yeah, that give another goalie on the market. Honestly, with the seven
He
other goalies
he
already
didn't do
there,
great last year, but they weren't great last year either. He played really well, I thought, the year before. He had the problem with his daughter, right? I think had cancer or something.
possible. Um,
Something.
I think one thing about him, I think he could be he's really good in shape. Greg live here about like 20 minutes from me. I see him every morning at the ring. Uh,
Oh yeah.
in August usually when you know everybody come back on you know what I mean and they play all together. They have about 20, 30 NHL player in the morning play scrimmage and he's always been in shape. I think he cannot be anymore a number one goalie. He's 38, 39, I believe. And I think he could be
Very
another great backup goalie, can get a really solid 20, 25 game per year, and you don't be worried about that one over there. So
I
if
think so. He's had a great career. I mean, he's a US guy. That was a good trade with Colorado. They traded Brian Elliott of all guys to get him. Like it was like two pretty good goalies that end up swapping. Like
yep, I agree with you on that one. Following about that, Detroit, talking about your team, Detroit, Michael Rasmussen got loan over there at the, is it Ice HL? I don't know which team is it. Michael Rasmussen.
I know who the player is.
Yeah.
He played in the WHL. He's a 6'6" guy with soft
Yeah.
hands, and they
So it
got to
was
let him play.
loan.
Like
Edmonton loan also Patrick Russell, and then
pretty.
finally one player we lost in the we lost him at some point 2 years ago, but back in the EHL with Rockford is Cody Frenson. He was play for last 2 years in the KHL.
Oh yeah, Cody. You know what's funny is Cody. Dylan Franson is one of our scouts, and I think that's his cousin.
Really?
Yeah, they're cousins. Yeah.
So well, you know, um,
What the hell is ICE?
I don't know
It's
exactly,
Germany.
so I didn't
It's
want to
Germany.
talk too much about that one over there.
Bet
Um,
at home ice hockey league.
yep,
What? It's a like I see Salzburg, the Blackwing. It looks like Germany.
possible. I thought I
It's
was, but
weird.
the German usually is a DEL, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why it's really weird. Like Blackwings, Linz, Vienna Capitals. Oh, Bratislav is in Czechoslovakia, right?
Yep.
Or Slovak. Maybe Bratislav is in Slovakia. And then, so that's weird. I've never heard of this before.
Yep, so exactly what happening there. I want to talk with this. We have two more subjects to go today, and I think I want to talk about the salary cap. Uh, who has a difficult time with the salary cap, and who has more friendly, cap friendly. Honestly, I pick up this from capfriendly.com, and I want sharing with you. Any comments you have about each team, you can jump on it. And let's start with the one that is really tied up. The first one is Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Um, they are right, yeah, 40 millions already frozen of 81 with four players: Matthews, Tavares, Mitch Marner, and William Nylanders. That make that team difficult to sign up Angelo. They have to move a couple of pieces of the puzzle. They want to do that, and that's make very difficult. We know 81.5 million is the salary cap now. It's going to be like this for a couple of years. What they expect. Number two, what has surprised me, I did not know about that. Edmonton Oilers has less of $11 million to spend
Oh no, their salary cap's a mess.
on the starting net mender, goaltender, and also three of the four depth forwards.
You
So
you're saying that they don't have very much cap space.
they have only $11
Yeah.
million, and they
Well,
have
you got 6 million tied up in Nugent Hopkins, which is now not too bad. I think that contract should be coming up because it was signed around the same time as Hall. You've got obviously McDavid is what 13 and a half, and then Drysaitl's a cheap one, man. Drysaitl's like 8.5, but still,
so they have like $11 million for a goaltender number one, and also three or four depth forwards. So you know what I mean? Like they get a goalie at six. That's what I said to you.
yeah.
Corey
So
Crawford,
I think what you see is this: you're gonna see Puya Harvey come back, and he'll be inexpensive, and he'll actually show people he can play, which he's totally capable of it. Um, they have Evan Bouchard, who is probably ready for the NHL. Whether they expose him or not, because of the expansion draft, will be interesting to see. But even without him, they're very deep on D now. Like Nurse, Bear, Clefbaum, Larson, Benning, Russell. Like they got a decent D, right? You could move out a Clefbaum and put in a Peter Angelo if he wanted to go to Edmonton, right? So I think you could do what you'd said before, which is you trade and then sign.
I think I think for me they have to get out Neil and pick it up Pirangelo and get a goalie about $4 million right now, and they get Wayne
I
Simon.
like Neil. I don't know. I think he played well last year, but I think that they ran into this issue before where they didn't have depth. What's Neil's contract at? It's 5.7, right? For three
Yeah,
more years.
yeah.
And then Cassian's pretty inexpensive. Archibald was good value.
So what's still happening there?
And you got Kyler Yamamoto at 894. So I think
But they
they're
still have
okay.
to sign three or four depth forward. So they are really struggle
Wow.
about that. So it's some
Tyler Ennis will come cheap. He played very well for them, I thought. Signing him would not be bad. If Puya Harvey comes back, then they should be okay up front. And then if you can get a big name like Peter Angelo,
so we'll see. Next team, it's a problem with the new manager
oh,
came
I
back
was
with
gonna
the
say one
Helen
other name. Philip Broberg looked very good. Did
for
you
what?
watch them? Philip Broberg, their first overall pick, played with them in the playoffs, and he
Yeah,
looked very good.
yep. That's
And
something you
he's
have
going to
to
be
learn
cheap.
about
He's
that
going to
one
be
over there.
894. So you could dump a clef bomb, no problem. I think.
Arizona Coyotes with Kessel, OEL, Derek Stephen, Michael Grabner, and
Yeah.
Nicholas Jamerson are trade bait right now, candidate for to drop their salary. Honestly, they're all to fight. I don't think so. Stephen is on the list, and then Nicholas. You have a no trade. Uh, who would like to get Kessel? I don't know. I believe UEL. I know it's $8.25 million, but
I think you have a bigger problem with Goligoski, and that's going to go away in a year. And then you've got Chalmerson, who's 33 now, and he's similar money at 5. So between those two guys, it's 10. Larson's like in the prime. He can, he's pretty good. Chikrin, Demers, Osterley's pretty good. So I don't know. I think you move one of those two guys.
yeah.
Kessel, I have no time for it. That Clayton Keller contract looks disgusting at the moment. Steppen's got to go. I don't understand Nick Schmaltz. Is he worth I don't know. Is he worth 5.8? I guess he was their leading scorer, right?
Yeah.
Grabner is cheap for what he does.
Yep. So the next team, Anaheim Ducks. They are the hell bucket cap also because they have moving Ryan Kessler to the LTIR.
Yeah, that's just
Murray
one.
another $6.8 million.
And Backus.
But the Ducks still have more of $74 million already commit.
So the thing about the Ducks, first of all, they have a terrible coach in my opinion. So they're not going anywhere. I think the Getzlav contract is 1 more year and then he's out. So that's 8.2. So that comes off the books. Adam Henrique is still, for what he is paid, does a very good job. And Silverberg's really good. You're going to dump Backus and you're going to dump Kessler. The D, they keep talking about moving someone. Eric Goodbranson has 1 more year at 4.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have some stuff that falls off. They probably don't love paying Cam Fowler 6.5, but honestly, it's just a long contract. I think that they got a great young goalie who's totally worth 6.4. That deal looks cheap to me. So I think the real future of this team is like Max Jones, Sam Steele, the French kid. Troy Terry got a cheap contract. They signed Sonny Milano for a cheap contract.
Comtois.
What's his name?
Comtois.
Comtois is awesome.
Maxim Comtois.
I really like Maxim Comtois. They still have Isaac Lunderson. They've got Trevor Zegras coming up. Our guy, Bryce Kindup, we hope will make the team.
And remember, they have a pick.
And then they have a top 6. So, which, I don't think will make the team this year. I guess it depends who they pick. And then they got Brendan Gould, who came over as part of the Montour deal. And when he's healthy, is really good. So I think they're on the youth movement. I wouldn't flip out too much. I wouldn't sign anybody if I'm Anaheim.
Next team, Chicago Blackhawks GM Stan Bowman need a starting goaltender and to resign the 30-goal rookie. That's pretty amazing. He scored 30 goals. Dominic Kubalik and Taylor
really
Strome. Bowman has only $8 million to do this, so we'll see what they're going to do. I don't see why they don't want Corey Crawford again for a 2-year contract, $4 million, and then they still have
high for him. I don't know, but he looked really good in the playoffs. I thought he stole a game for them, and he's that hip injury. We saw what happened with Corey Schneider.
Yep,
that's a tough one, man. I don't know. Chicago feels to me like they're on the cusp. So I think if they get a goaltender, they should be aggressive and get a Matt Murray maybe if they believe in him. They've got enough young pieces they can move to Pittsburgh. They got a history of trading with Pittsburgh. Why not go after Matt Murray? And then you don't worry about Corey Crawford. Malcolm Subban is not an option. Delia is not really going to do anything for you.
They need a goalie number 1.
They need a real goalie. Maybe they go for Anderson for a backup, and then but they got to do something, obviously. They've got some pieces there. They look really close to me. I would hope they don't screw that up and maybe they take Askarov, but and then they buy a couple years, right?
Yep. Next team, Dallas Stars, the finalist team. They have a big decision to do with the RFA, Radel Faxa, Denis Kuryanov, and Ropi Hens. They need new contract, plus a mega deal is looming for Miro Eskinen. The Stars have also to figure out with Netmender, playoff hero Anton Kudubin. So it's a lot of stuff.
Frank Kudobin, You figure out how to dump Sagan.
No, you cannot do that. Is you top first
He's
center.
28.
Um,
He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got like 7 years left at 9.8. And if you know what's interesting, if you look at him in the playoffs, his playoff scoring has never been good.
no,
He,
of course that I understand that, but what I
yeah.
mean, like, who's going to pick him? I
Well,
think
you'd
it's
have to
funny
eat
that
salary, but it's worth it. A lot
yeah,
of teams would take a shot at Sagan, thinking that he's just in a wrong situation. I think the Radulov deal is only 2 more years. Pavelski's looking like a steal.
my biggest concern there for Dallas now is to be their goaltender situation. Um, at
Well,
least
they got to. I think that you see Ottinger's a capable backup. I think you move on from Ben Bishop and keep Kudobin.
I don't
Bishop's
think could have been
4.9.
a regular goalie, 50 game per year. I don't see that.
No, maybe.
No, 34 years old. Uh, no, I don't see from him. I can
Well,
see right now.
Bishop's 33, and he can't even stay healthy.
No, I don't said keep Bishop. I just said I don't see could have been
Oh,
keep
you're
up
saying a
over here.
complete overhaul of the goalies.
So they have to find a goalie number one.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
my point to you
maybe.
about that.
Again, I don't know if do they have a draft pick in the top? They
Next,
would be 30th, right? But
yeah, next
so
team,
I
Florida.
think the answer is, Pierre, they got to trade Rupe Hins and Gurionov to Detroit for the 4th overall pick.
I
Thank you.
think Detroit should never trade their four overall pick. You build with your draft pick. He's
They
going.
got a lot of draft picks. They're not. I don't disagree with you, but those are two very young players,
Yeah, I know, but
right? One guy's
why that is
23 and
going
one
to do
guy's.
that?
They're
Why
both
that is going to
23.
give two great players to get a one deal when you did
Seduce them with the 4th pick.
again the player's not going to make
Not
it
going to
right
happen.
away. I mean,
It's more of a personal, like,
I know,
let's
I
steal
understand.
from.
Next thing,
Tim Neal, you
Florida
owe me.
Panthers. The Cats are not expect to spend the cap under new GM Bill Zito. He was, honestly, they had to figure out the
For
potential
Arizona.
to trade Mike Madison, but the biggest problem they have, they're losing Hoffman, Dadonov,
Oh, for
Erla on the UFA right now. That's the biggest concern about them, and they all struggle with their money, and they have to think in long term with Barkov and Huberto. I think Huberto is 3 more years to go, 2 more years to go.
yeah.
But
3 for Huberto, 2 for Barkov. Both are 5.9.
yep,
Brett Connolly, that contract doesn't look horrible. Vetrano doesn't look horrible.
Strandman, I think they could keep him 1 more year, but after that they have to
Who?
let it go. That's a little bit bad contract at
Oh,
5.5.
Anton Strawman.
Yeah.
I think you ride that out. I don't like Keith Yandel. I think he's got 3 more years at 6.3. You're already moving out the 4.8 of Matheson, which is probably smart. Uyghur needs a contract, right?
Honestly, I will let go Yandel at 6.5, buy out him, and go
Yep.
get Shattenkirk at $3 million, something like that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, those are the same crappy defensemen.
Same thing. No, but that's my point. Now you save a $3 million there. It's easy to talk behind a mic, behind a keyboard, right? But I don't see Shattenkirk get $4 million. No
Really?
team's going to give him that part of
He
there.
might.
He barely got a contract, 1 point something over there. But
Well,
I
he got
believe
that
he
because
still
he
got
got
money
money on
from
the
the
buyout,
Rangers.
right? He got
So
bought out by the Rangers.
I still he still have money from the Rangers for his bad
Yeah,
contract.
I think he got a pile of cash, and that's why he was cheap. And Tampa took advantage of that. I,
Yep.
I, I don't like him, but I think he's probably a $3-4 million defenseman somewhere in there.
He looked good with Tampa because he's not
Not bad.
number one, he's not number
Right,
two, not number three,
right.
and he looked good. He had 10 points. But again, with Florida, the reason why Yandel struggled, he's exposed as the best
Just
defenseman on the left side,
yeah,
where he was wearing the right chair and be number two on the left
yeah.
side
He's ridiculous. I don't like
on
him.
the second pair, but you get what you get. You get a good skater, you get an offensive player, but you don't get anything on defensive
Nothing else.
side.
How good is Riley Stillman? And it is
Still young. He's still young. I
too
think he's
young.
not the right share as number top four. One of the best player he really developed, it was Wigger.
Flutie.
Wigger become a good, and that's the reason why they can trade now Medicine,
Yep.
because Wigger is the left side with him. Medicine's the left side
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So
It is.
we'll see what happens. We have a lot of team to go through. So the next one, New York Islander have a lot of, another problem there because because
Oh
Matthews there's
no,
a
I
good
got you get a
new
new chair, but
8-figure or 7-figure number there. Barzell's going to be, does not have the arbitration right, but when you become the right best player of the team, you need to have, negotiation earlier, not wait at the end of his contract. So I think Johnny Bolchuk is maybe a trade bait for them. Um, and
who's
then
that?
Johnny Bolchuk,
Oh, Boychuk, yeah.
I think it'll be one over there. He's, they cannot buy him out. Does not help the cap anyway. So I think that will be someone. The
It
next
seems so
thing,
much better with him though.
yeah, but I
I
think
mean,
he's
I think
not
their
anymore
future is
like
like, they're gonna have Noah Dobson play more and more. I think their issue is skill up front though, right?
yeah. I think we'll see what happens with them. New York Rangers. The problem is the three goalies, but they're going to likely heading for a buyout, which make for 12 million total and the dead space. Counting. Check this. We just talked about this. Kevin Shattenkirk.
Why? Oh, they're still paying him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So both of
That's what I
them
was saying. He got a whack of cash, like 6 more million.
Both of them keep them now at 12 million space, that
It,
space over there. That's
I,
reduced the GM Jeff Gordon's spending power nearly $68 million, which was why the big ticket RFA, Tony D'Angelo and Rand Strom are on the trade bait for that team
that
over there.
seems stupid to me. I don't get it. Like Strom played great. I hope he's trade bait.
Now the
First of
reason
all,
they are the trade bait because they have no money. That's the reason why they become the trade bait.
well, they're gonna have money in a year. I don't know. Like, first of all, they overpaid Truba. Like, that's a joke. Like, you pay Truba 8 million a year? Give me a break. That's insane. Mark Stahl, his contract will
But you
come off.
cannot, they cannot buy him. Like now you
No,
become.
I know it's ridiculous. So, but I would. How do you compare him to even an OEL? Like, I don't get it. So Brendan Smith and Mark Stahl will come off the books. They don't have much else. They got to give Tony D'Angelo a contract. They'll, I don't know. Do they buy out Lundqvist? It's only 8.5 for one more year. The Russian kid's only 9.25. Georgiev's not going to get that much. So I don't know, up front,
So we'll
they
see
have
what
a
happens
big
with
drop
them.
off, right? Like,
Now
they've got young guys coming up,
yeah. So the
and they're going
next
to get
one,
Lafreniere.
the next one, Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins are, internal cap around $75 million, which why GM Rutherford um, start to, trade Nick Pushtab, and then now they try to move Patrick, and then maybe. I think
Zucker?
I think their free market will be a little bit limited because there's problem now. Pittsburgh thinking more about trade one of the goalies, honestly.
Yeah, they'll move one of those. They're currently cheap, but they'll get some young guys back for Murray.
Here's the problem, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh have no draft pick. Pittsburgh trade always their
Yeah.
draft pick.
So
I
trade
think
Murray and get a pick.
I think they can be there hanging there for 1, 2, 3 more years max. But what Crosby,
They're win
Malkin
now, yeah.
leave, they need to figure out something else because I think that some moment um, they have
They
some
get a
problem.
lot of miles out of guys that you've never heard of, right? And then you got guys like Gunsel, who's 6 mil, but he's a very good scorer. I don't know, do they keep Jason Zucker at 5.5? That seems high. He's a good goal scorer. So maybe that's why they think they can move on from Hornqvist, right? Tanev at 3.5 seems high to me. Brandon Tanev? I don't know.
We'll see. Next team, again, with the problem with maybe their salary cap is the St. Louis Blues. The Blues have, to figure out with the captain Alex Petrangelo. They include new home for one for maybe for Tyler Bozak, Vance Dunn, or Colton Perico.
Well,
Um,
you've got Bozak at 5 million. You've got Steen at 5.7.
that's
I
the
think
second one there.
you move on from those guys. you go, what are you doing with like Falk at 6'5" is probably worth it. I can see why they were trying to move out Pareko because he's at 5.5, but I don't know. He's very good. I like him.
No, you cannot losing both of them, Prudengelo and Perico. So Perico
Well,
is
they
be on
should
the
have
top
just
left.
locked down
Will be
Peter
on the,
Angelo and not him.
Perico is going nowhere until they figure out what maybe Prudengelo.
Well,
My
now,
biggest
yeah,
concern with St. Louis right now is about Bennington. He's the Bennington, the playoff was the Bennington 2 years ago. That would be the biggest concern for them. They lose Jake Allen.
yeah,
So Greg Anderson should be a good place to go.
yeah. I don't disagree with that, or even Brian Elliott, who's got a history in St. Louis.
That's another
Although,
thing there too. Yep.
yeah, but I think the issue with Bennington is legit. I love Jordy. Like I've watched him since he's 13. He's always been that guy that steals games and comes up big.
Yep.
But it was concerning what we saw in the playoffs. I don't know if he was hurt or just, it's a lot. You win a cup, you have a run like that. I think he's the type of guy that'll bounce back and he'll be able to play 50 games. But they need a guy that can play 32. Like
Finally, the last team to talk about this is the Tampa Bay Lightnings. The problem they have, they have to figure out a clean up about $10 million for next year. That's the reason why they trade G.D. Miller last year. So it's a team can deal with him. With them they can get could be Tyler Johnson,
I think Tyler Johnson's number one.
Alex Killorn, Andre Palat, or Yanni Gord. If you are right now just Julien Brisebois, which one of the four is going to go?
I think Johnson's probably not playing his ideal spot, so you probably work on moving him. He's a 1990 birth year. I think Gord has shown he's like way better than his stats suggest, and you keep him. He can play all three forward positions. You're going to have to make a decision on Palat or Killorn.
I love Killorn.
I love Killorn. I think they're overpaying for McDonough.
So what's happening there?
They have no D next year.
The easy living bucket, all right? So they are Ottawa Senator have more $18 million to spend for to keep the salary cap floor at 60.2.
Who's that?
Ottawa.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they have 33, 52, 59, or 61 their draft pick.
They will trade for William Nylander because they in Carolina get all the ex-Maple Leafs.
Yeah. You know what I
And
mean?
then the problem will be solved. I think they've got contracts in a year for Brady Tkachuk they're going to have to sign. Anisimov comes off the books. I don't know why they're paying Colin White 4.75. The Bobby Ryan deal only has 2 more years. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're going to take on some problems for other people, I think. Like guys, they'll benefit short term.
Honestly, the key right now is like it is not trade anybody. They have 60, 80 million under. So
That's why
they
I
have
say
to
they'll
go
take on
out to
someone's
get that
salary cap
contract.
problem, like without too much problem. Like they'll say, hey, Tampa, we'll take Tyler Johnson. They'll take money off of the books for Pittsburgh or someone like that.
I think it would be a good destination for Phil Kessel, but not for Kessel. But, you know what I mean? Like they have to get someone like this so they can get up the players. So the next team is the Winnipeg Jets.
Maybe they signed Taylor Hall.
Yeah, Winnipeg Jets. You know what I mean? They have a hole as a center and also as the defense.
Yeah,
And I think Patrick Laney could be a player to look for trade and maybe fix their situation with the center.
I like the situation. I like trading him to Carolina, and maybe they get a Trocheck or something. I don't know. Does Carolina need Trocheck at center?
The problem, no, they need him for trade.
They,
Yeah,
he's very good, but they've got Netcash. So I think if you had 1, 2, 3 Stahl, Netcash, and then Aho, and then you bring in Line, that might make a lot of sense in Carolina because the young Martin Neckash, or however you say his name, is really, really, really good.
yeah.
And then if they then that solves the problem for Winnipeg at center. Winnipeg's biggest issue to me is they need another D. I could see Tanev going there. Chris Tanev.
Yep.
They
So
don't need goalies.
the next team is Colorado Avalanche. Life is great when you have a contract like Nathan McKinnon for look out for the next
What
3
a
years at
deal.
$6.3 million. So Joe Sakic have more $20 million in space to spend, and I think for me, he will need to get another defenseman, and they need a goalie number one. I think both goalies did not show enough to become a great number one. I think Philip Grober is great, but not as the best of the top 10 best goalie in NHL. And then unfortunately, the German guy,
Oh, the Czech kid or whatever it is,
yeah,
Francouz.
struggled in the playoff. So I
Yeah,
think
Czech that
Colorado
played.
will have to targeting two guys like that. I think they need to figure out about that one over there. Then we
So
have
I think what we got to remember is they have Bo Byron coming up, right? So they've got another superstar defenseman coming up through the ranks. So they're good on that. What do they do with Landeskog is the question, because Landeskog's contract's coming up. The other
you keep
contracts seem pretty reasonable
you keep him for sure. You don't send him nowhere.
because they were trying to trade him for the longest time. I think that was a mistake. Like, I think you keep him. I think they let Colin Wilson go. They could probably get. They got to do something with Burakovsky. I think they let Nemenstikov go, right? Do they keep Nichushkin? I think they should, but
What's the weapon in the next team is Los Angeles King are honestly 6 million under, and they have a lot of space money. They also get the draft pick over there. They pick number two, I think, or four.
yep, two.
Two. So we expect like Brickfield over there or
The future is pretty bright in LA. Like they've been stockpiling a
yeah.
lot of talent. What they need is a defenseman. Like they would almost be better to have the fourth pick than the second. Because if they now you're going to take the best player, so they'll take one of the two guys like Stutzley or Byfield. They don't need them. Like they really, I don't know if they need them. They need a winger. They don't need center because they got Velarde. They've got Lizotte showed he can play last year. They've got Alex Turcotte who's ready to play, and Kopitar is still very productive and got 4 more years at 10 mil.
He had a good year last year. I think he struggled 2 years ago.
He's decent. Like he just needs the young guys are almost ready. They need D though. The guys like Sean Walker and Mikey Anderson and Roy, they're pretty good. They got a lot of miles out of Ben Hutton. They need Drysdale or they need Sanderson.
And then the last team in that bracket is the New Jersey Devils, where I think the biggest questions are more about Kyle Palmieri, what they need to do. He's a Jersey native from New Jersey. I don't know why they want to maybe trade. He's on the number 7 trade bait right now, but I think you should resign him or move out.
I would. I like Gusev. Palmieri's good. Zaka has not been what they thought, but he can play. Like he's just not a 4th or 5th overall pick. Or I think that's the only thing holding him back. They get a lot of miles out of Zajac. Heischer and Bratt. Like Bratt is the one that is under the radar, and they got to sign. I don't know what they sign him to, because he's very good. Like the PK Subban thing's only 2 more years. I could see them moving Damon Severson. I don't like Will Butcher. I don't know what they're gonna do. The Corey Schneider, is he a capable guy now? But he's 6 mil. Blackwood's the man, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we still have another list to go, but we hit the 12 o'clock, so we're going to stop and come back tonight, finishing the middle bracket, and then also give you about the 9 other team. Michael is going to talk more about those teams and give him his impression about that. So again, another great program today, Hockey Nation fans. Thanks to be here watching us or listening us. We're going to be back tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great Thursday. And no hockey tonight. I apologize. No game number 4 tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on NBC National tomorrow night, by the way. That's Friday night. That's pretty good. So enjoy your day, guys. See you tomorrow tonight, 11 p.m. Have a good one.
Okay. Thanks, Pierre.